Joel Elliott, my friend. Hello from the stormy and chilly mid-Atlantic. I just saw what you did with the No Huntsville people and your cohorts there. Absolutely fantastic. Keep it up. Here in Pennsylvania, I don't think we're within Mr. Moore's jurisdiction, right? Because if we are, forget what I just said. Otherwise, yeah, keep it up, man. That's great.
Three things happen. He says something passive-aggressive. For some unknown reason, he sings something. and then he tells you all about his life. And so we're at that point now, and I want to tell you about my new hobby. When I came down to Alabama, growing up, I knew about Chief Justice Roy Moore of the Supreme Court of the state of Alabama. I knew about Roy Moore. I thought that he was like an Easter Bunny thing. I thought he was made up to represent all the ludicrous decisions that this state government makes. I really thought he was a made-up guy. And I got to town and I was like, oh my God, Roy Moore's a real dude. And he's right over there. And so I started writing satirical articles about Roy Moore to poke at him, in April I said he shut down the gay bar, which was believable enough that people were upset and they shared this, And so then we started doing this sketch comedy show, Hullabaloo, and we were going to do it on August 29th, but we weren't ready. We just didn't have everything ready for the show, so we were like, oh, we're going to have to postpone the show. This is a bummer. And I was like, let's spin this, guys. Let's claim that Roy Moore shut down the show. And it got so big, people kept getting upset and spreading this. We made a fake letter on letterhead. That was our downfall. But people started spreading it and got to a point where, it was a thing, And Chief of Staff, Ben Dupree, of the office of Roy Moore, the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court, he sent us some threatening messages. And he was like, take this joke down. And the joke in the first place was that I was joking that the office of Roy Moore told us, stop making jokes. And then they found our joke and they were like, we never told you to stop making jokes. Stop making jokes about that, or we'll sue. So I look up Ben Dupree's Twitter feed, because he was actually a very nice, cordial, professional man. I love you, Ben Dupree. But I looked up his Twitter feed. He's a dick to the White House. He is a dick to the White House, and he's a dick to Planned Parenthood, and I was a dick to him, and he was like, I'll sue. And I was like, excuse me, Mr. Ben Dupree. So Mr. Ben Dupree is now my new hobby. I was making fun of Roy Moore at first. Now I'm making fun of Roy Moore and Chief of Staff Ben Dupree because he's on my radar. And I recorded a radio interview this morning that is going to air tomorrow morning, just promoting the Rocket Wrangler, which you can go to rocket-wrangler.com, where all these satirical articles happen. And soliciting minions from Pennsylvania to help me, poke fun at state government in Alabama. So this will probably be my last performance. I don't know if this is going to go well.
Blowing your mind for over 3 decades. That's a lot of blowing.
Oh,
Thank you.
92.1 WTPA.
Bam!
Damn! Central PA's independent rock.
Good morning.
What is going on?
Oh, man, not a whole lot. I'm still stuck in the deep south. And that's going interesting, as you may have heard.
I haven't heard. Tell me all about it, man.
Okay. Well, I mean, where do I start? I mean, okay, so I came to the Deep South under dubious circumstances.
Yeah.
And I had heard about Roy Moore, from the whole Ten Commandments thing, way back. And when I found myself in the state with him, I was after I'd hooked up with a bunch of stand-up comedians, I was like, I'd like to lampoon this guy. I think it's my turn. And so when the only gay bar in Huntsville, Alabama, closed down, I took that as my opportunity, and I made an article on a local satirical website called the Rocket Wrangler, which you can see at rocket-wrangler.com.
Mm-hmm.
and I claimed that Roy Moore shut down the gay bar. It was such a believable idea that people were upset. I mean, like, I think what shut it down was just debt. But, you know, like, the people were like, Roy Moore did this, and we can't, you know, stand for that. And, you know, it became a whole, like, thing. People shared it all around, and, you know, I hoped in my heart of hearts that Roy got to see it, or somebody in his office, you know. But then that dropped. Okay, and some months later, there's this group called Can't Afford Cable that is putting on, like, a sketch comedy show. We were coming up to the date of the show, but we weren't ready. So we had to postpone the show, and they were all upset. And I was like, hey, guys, why don't we spin this? Let's write an article that claims that Roy Moore told us we can't do the show. Yeah.
So you're just blatantly lying. You're just blatantly but you're doing it under the guise of satire.
Correct.
Okay.
All satire, you know, because any reasonable human being really examining the article could figure out pretty easily that Jonathan Swift is not suggesting that we eat babies. You know, like, it was in such a way that it's like, okay, if you really look at this, you'll know that Roy Moore didn't say, no, you can't do your sketch comedy show. That's silly, you know. I was just making a point that they make such ridiculous decisions that it's kind of believable, any ridiculous decision that you purport that they made.
I am reminded of the great film from the 90s starring Woody Harrelson as Larry Flint, the People versus Larry Flint. When the scene came regarding Flint and Jerry Falwell and his article in his article that said essentially Jerry Falwell was doing his mom or whatever, and in the court case in the film, you know, the point came up. Mr. Falwell, could any reasonable person expect that you were having sex with your mom? And Falwell's character, whoever played Falwell, said, no, nobody. Well, then there it is. That's satire, right?
There you are. Yeah. If an educated person can look at this and go, oh, okay, there's no way this is real, then that's what satire is. Right. That's satire. We're making a point, you know.
Right.
But yeah, okay, so this is the thing. Here's where, like, the hoax then becomes real, is that the joke was that they told us that we can't make jokes anymore because they didn't like our jokes. And we, the Can't Afford Cable guys, worked with me on crafting a letter that looked like it was from the office of Roy Moore that said, cease and desist, you can't do the show. This is in the lead up to the actual show.
Okay, so now let's so the letter was fake.
The letter was fake.
The letter was fake. You and a comedy troupe got together and wrote this letter that was a cease and desist.
A cease and desist.
But it was all under the guise of satire.
Correct.
Okay.
It was a satirical work.
Right.
Now, we released this letter, and people, just like when I claimed that Roy shut down the gay bar, you know, people got upset.
Yeah.
And people started sharing it, and it went wide. You know, like, it went wide enough that people were calling people and asking, what's going on with this? Which you know, obviously that was what we were trying to do, get some promotion for the show and whatnot. But unfortunately, it went so wide that it got to the desk of the Chief of Staff of the Office of Chief Justice Roy Moore.
So this is now the real Roy Moore has this in his hands, and he's looking at this and investigating this, and this is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the state, the great state of Alabama.
Yes. He his minion to be exact.
Right.
Chief of Staff Ben Dupree. He runs that office there. He's got this on his desk now, and he's reading this, and he's like, we didn't send this. And so he sends a message to every social media outlet that Can't Afford Cable has. Like, he sends tweets to Twitter feeds that they didn't even realize that they had anymore. And it's all just this threatening note saying, you know, as you likely know, this letter is fake, and if you don't take it down immediately, we will take legal action.
So, Joel, it seems to me that the Chief of Staff of the of the Chief Justice in the state of the head lawyer in the state of Alabama would know that legally you are allowed some satirical ceiling, right?
Correct. Yes, that if it's a work of satire, then you know, it's fair game under, like, freedom of speech and all of that.
You would think
that he would be that he'd be on the same page with us there, but because we are scared little bunny rabbits, we caved. We caved immediately, and put up a aggressive retraction as he demanded. He didn't demand it be passive aggressive; that was our choice. But in the retraction, we referenced that we were making the joke that you didn't like our sense of humor and told us to stop making jokes, and it was a joke until you actually saw it and decided you didn't like our sense of humor and told us to stop making jokes. Now it's kind of real, but we've retracted it, so please don't come after us. It was just a whole kerfuffle. And I have to tell you, Bob, my new hobby is being a thorn in the side of Chief of Staff Ben Dupree. This is now, this hoax was just going to blow over. There was a retraction scheduled for publication in the Rocket Wrangler, which you can visit at rocket-wrangler.com. The retraction was going to, it said, Alabama Supreme Court makes curious ruling. The ruling was, can't afford cable, doesn't know what they're talking about. The whole article was going to come out hours after Chief of Staff Ben Dupree threatened us. And the article, stated, we saw this, and we figured this is something we could do, but we looked in the files, and we didn't do it. So Can't Afford Cable must be making stuff up. If he had just waited, it would have blown over. But instead, he contacted us, and so now Ben's my new pet project. Up on the Rocket Wrangler website right now, there's an article between Will Weininger, one of the local comics, and Ben Dupree. It's basically Will saying that Ben Dupree is a really good guy, and it was wrong of us to make fun of the Office of Roy Moore, because if we don't support every arbitrary decision that the Office of Roy Moore makes, then the rule of law will break down. And it's basically a love letter between Will and Ben. So that I can continue to advance the narrative, let Ben know what it feels like to be lampooned, and we're just going to keep having fun.
In the
point there,
in the interest of full disclosure, and probably would have been wise to release this early on in the conversation. Especially if any legal authorities are listening in. Joel and I go way, 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 way back. I know we're separated now by some 1,000 maybe miles or whatever it is, but
about 1,000. I'd be in the studio right now, but it's a long walk.
That's right. So we're longtime friends. So none of this surprises me.
Right.
But as you know, Joel, I used to be. I used to play softball quite a bit, and it reminds me of one idea that I came up with on the softball field. I'm a sore loser, is what they refer to me as, and so therefore, when an umpire's ruling goes against me, I get angry, and I would get harsh and yell at umpires, and it more than once led to ejections. It's really kind of a pathetic existence, Joel. It's beer league softball, for Christ's sake, but. So I decided right then and there, my final ejection, that from now on, I would still get loud, but I would praise the umpire in so doing. So if the guy is called safe and I thought he was out, I would be like, what an amazing call! That's the best call I've ever heard! Oh my God! You're unbelievably wonderful at your job, So, but they can't throw me out for praising him in a high, So that's what that reminds me.
Your mother's a beautiful woman. They can't get mad at you for that.
That's right, exactly. Wow, this is quite something. This is an interesting case that has now traveled from Alabama to Pennsylvania, and you as a student of such things, what do you think the chances are of this thing sweeping all over the place, going viral, man?
Right. I mean, well, I'm pretty sure that the follow-up, the next follow-up article, I'm going to suggest that Mr. Ben Dupree and Mr. Roy Moore have been going on dates. So we'll see exactly how mad anybody gets. I don't know. I mean, if anybody wants to form a little merry prankster army and follow me on tweet at me on Twitter.
Yeah.
At Awkward Handle is the that's my feed.
At Awkward Handle.
Awkward Handle.
Okay.
just tweet at me like I'm in. You know, say like I'm in, and I'll know you're one of the people that wants to help me. You know, have some fun with the state of Alabama.
Unbelievable.
And we'll, you know, like I'll tweet you missions and stuff like Z Frank used to do or still does. You know, we can have fun. We can have fun together is what I'm saying.
Very good. Now, Joel, also in the interest of full disclosure, you're one of the smartest, brightest guys I've ever known. Certainly one of the most creative. Where would you, as you know, take a step away from, remove yourself from the closeness of this? Where do you draw? Where do you, as an intelligent man, draw the line between satire and that's it? Legal action needs to be addressed.
Well, I mean, from what we learned in our last little stunt, letterhead, I think, is that line. that was our downfall, Bob, is that we used some letterhead, and they were like, I think we can get you on that.
So the letterhead was the problem.
The letterhead did us in.
Yeah.
I mean, like it did us in the sense that like they were able to threaten us then.
Gotcha.
But it actually made the joke so much funnier because the whole joke was they told us to stop joking, and then they called us up and they were like, "We didn't tell you to stop joking. Stop joking about that." And that's so confusing.
It really is, but it's brilliant, man. It is Joel Elliott calling in, checking in from Alabama. I've said this to you numerous times, but we simply must make a pact to do this on the regular, just to check in and see how things are for you down in Alabama. Joel does stand-up comedy, a radio guy, former radio teammate of mine, and longtime friend. Joel, always good to talk, man.
Great to be here, Bob. Love you.
Love you, buddy.
Love you.
Big up, buddy. Buddy.
92.1 WTPA and WTPARock.com. Central PA's independent rock with another big old block of rock starting now.
Please welcome back to the stage. He opened us up with a musical segment earlier. Please welcome back Joel Elliott.
Thank you, Matthew Tate. Thank you, Maggie Myers, Irish Pub. Who came here for comedy tonight? Woo! Who came here to drink? Wow, okay, that is the first time that it's ever been like less clapping for the drinking. That is amazing. Is this turning into a comedy club or something? This is wild. I made the news today. My name's Joel Elliott. If you haven't met me or run into me in town, you haven't been looking on the side of the road much. She kept the house in both cars! My name is Joel Elliott, and you can follow my awkward handle on Twitter by following @awkwardhandle on Twitter. I made the news today, and not for failing at my marriage so terribly publicly that it was newsworthy. That was before. A lot has happened since then. But no, I made the news today. There was an article that WHNT put out because there's this manhole cover downtown. I've been joking about it for a while. Yeah, this is right in front of the TV station. Yeah. And it says Huntsville. The name of the city says HUNTSIVLLE. This place should not be building rockets. We shouldn't be messing with rockets in this town if we can't spell the name of the city right on the manhole cover. Because, it can't be just that one. You know, they don't, there's not a guy with a chisel just making these by hand. They mince them. You know, they're like coins. So it's there've got to be a whole lot of messed up manhole covers somewhere. I was joking about it today, and WHNT followed me, and they were like, "Where is this thing?" And I was like, "Slide into my DMs because you're a news organization, and it's right outside your building. I don't want to embarrass you." So we DM'd back and forth sometimes, WHNT and me, and they said to me that they were like, "We were waiting for you to respond, and we went outside. We found 2 more." So they put an article online saying that local citizen Joel Elliott pointed out that there's a misspelled manhole cover, and they got the city to comment. They're like, "Well, this must have been made a while ago because people inspect these things. Shouldn't be made of rocks." So an embarrassing thing happened the other day. Not embarrassing, just an odd thing, an awkward thing. That's my thing. Awkward handle. @awkward handle. I was walking away from a friend's house, and I was walking down the street, and a car stopped. Like, I live a very public life, and I walk a lot, and so people just stop and give me rides sometimes, so I'm kind of used to that. But I live with a personality disorder, so I'm terrified of people. Absolutely terrified of people. So when a car slows down, I also grew up in Baltimore City. So anybody been around Baltimore City, Maryland? Yeah. I'm sorry, what did they take? You know, so like I grew up in Baltimore, a little paranoid. A car slows down, I'm like, all right, what's up? And so, but I looked at the person in the car, and I was like, okay, I recognize that face, and this is not somebody who's ever punched me in the face before, so I think I'm comfortable getting in the car. So I get in the car, and we start rolling over to the bus stop that I was going to, and then I was like, wait, no, okay, this is a girl, okay, that's important. This is a girl, and it's like, oh, I recognize her, and I think it's like comedy related, you know, like I think I've seen her around in comedy shows and stuff, you know what, I think she dates one of the comedians, this girl dates one of the comedians, and they're like, whoa, wait, oh no, this girl used to date one of the comedians, oh, okay. Okay, now which one of the comedians did she date? Oh, okay, it was the host of the TGIM comedy, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, now, well, which one is her? Because, you know, like, you know, I'm not going to name him by name, the host of TGIM, but he gets around. So I was like, which girl is this? You know, like, is this the one that had that situation? Is it the one with that situation? You know, oh, is it the one with that? This is the one with that bit. Oh, that bit. Oh, the one bit that like goes off the cliff of bitterness. That bit. Oh, no. This is that girl, you know. But I was already in the car. I started thinking through these loyalties paths of thinking like, well, should I have even accepted the ride? You know, like when she pulled up, should I have been like, no, you were bad, my friend. Get out of here. You know, it was cold. I got in the car, but you know, and I was already in the car, so I was like, well, what do I do now? Just open the door and just get out and roll? You know, that doesn't work. That's no good for me. It's not going to make him feel any better about all the things she did to him. That's what the bit is for. Therapy on the stage because we don't have health insurance because we're comedians. So I'm in the car getting this ride from this girl who's an ex of a friend of mine, and I'm like, well, you know, I mean, shoot, if my ex pulled up beside Matthew and he was walking on the side of the road, she's hot. I'm sure he'd get in. You know, like, I mean, sure, yes, she took out my two front teeth, but she's never punched him in the face, so he'd do the same, like, ocular pat down and be like, wow, she's hot, and she's never punched me, I'm getting in. And so I don't think I have any problem with it. You know, like, I'd be like, that would be cool, you know, I think I'd go ahead. I mean, it's like, she gave me a ride. She didn't give me a ride, you know. That would end up in the newsletter, hashtag itty bitty city committee. God, nobody would sleep with anybody without everybody knowing. It's ridiculous. I've had a bunch of ex-girlfriends in my social media recently, but in a good way, oddly enough. I've gotten to this mature place in my life, except for the marriage where we can't even legally be in the same room. But, you know, the dating since the marriage, it's been good, you know? Like, I had an ex-girlfriend dump me recently, and we processed things, it was good. And then there was this follow churn situation happening on Twitter, and she got involved with it. Like, you know, I was saying, you know, I'm in a fragile place right now. If you unfollow me again, because you've done this before, I'll cry. I was saying that to the CW. Because the CW follow churns on Twitter, they have got poor Twitter etiquette. But I tagged the station manager, we settled it. It's okay. Like I said, I spent a lot of time on Twitter. But you know, when this girl who had just dumped me, she saw that the CW had, you know, I was going through the follow churn thing again, and she just inserted, I wrote this down on paper because I'm old, I wrote a tweet down on paper. But you know, she tweeted back to the CW, she was like, the CW, how are you supposed to heal when they're ripping your heart apart with these games? And this is a girl who just recently dumped me, it was situationally hilarious. And then she followed it up, going right at the CW. She was like, you're making the breakup harder. It was so good. It was so good. The CW really, they didn't care. But I've had this whole stream of like exes on my social media. I made a joke about that the ex that's kind of similar to the one where you went off the bitterness cliff with. You know, like I had a lot of trouble processing this one. I was living with her and raising a kid with her. You know, it was her kid from a previous. Not biological, but raising it and raising her as a person. But But her boss proposed marriage to her while I was living with her. And she came home and told me this, and I was like, well, what did you say? And she said, well, I said I had to think about it. And I was like, all right, I just went to the bedroom and started packing my things, because, you know, even if you think about it and then say no, I'm still, like, just waiting for the next one, right? You know, that just didn't work out. But so I left there, and it's been years. The kid's like 13 now, you know. And she follows me on Twitter, this woman that was the ex, you know, but one day recently I tweeted out something like, you know, Buddhism means taking a lot of cold showers. Just a real sad, lonely, pathetic tweet, you know, dumped recently, whatever. And Joe Concilio took his like on it, and I'm like, oh, that's cute, that's great, you know, like the ex checking in when things are at their lowest. And so I went over to the Facebook and I posted something about it, you know, like that awkward moment when your ex, that situation, you know, that likes only the tweets when you're talking about being frustrated and lonely. And I realized, to be fair, all of them are like that. But then I was like, well, you know what, she's not going to see this because we're not friends on Facebook. And I was like, I'm trying to live a mature life. And so I friended her on Facebook. And she saw it, she commented, and we had this long public discussion. It was delightful. My Facebook's public, go to it. Joel Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's. I don't care for him. But so, yeah, like, God, itty bitty city committee. I slept with the barback. Don't look at Nicole, it's not her. No, hashtag Nicole and I haven't even ever gone to IHOP at 4 in the morning because I promised I wouldn't say anything. The barback, she was working earlier today. Her and I slept together, and it was nice. And you know, we were dating for a while, and it was lovely. And you know, we broke up. And today I was talking to her about this stream of exes on my social media, and I was like, you know, you should be in the mix because I care about you a lot. God, okay, well, if we're going to be honest, I said to her literally, I said, I know that the circumstances that this is not when you want to hear this, but I love you so much. We broke up like a year ago. Okay, but I told her, jump on my social media and post something on my wall, like something critical and something deep. Like make it real deep, you know, like go in, like don't hurt my dating prospects because I'm single and I'm lonely, but you know, but cut at me deep because I've got this string of ex-girlfriends things happening. So yeah, so look at my social media because the barback may have said something by now. It'll be fun. Matty Myers, you've been great. I, on the other hand, have been Joel Elliott.
Joel Elliott, everybody. So, let me get this.
Central PA's first great radio station is Central PA's last great radio station. 92.1 WTPA and WTPARock.com. Central PA's independent rock.
Buddy, are you doing okay, man?
I suppose so. Bob, you and I have been friends for a while. Can I ask you a question?
Okay, go ahead.
Are you recording me?
I am.
This is just like the liberal media. You know? All this gotcha journalism, Bob. Like, how is a politician supposed to do evil things if journalisms keep getting them and doing this gotcha journalism?
Well, listen to me. It's not so much the gotcha journalism. What we're going to do next is chop it up to make it sound like you're selling off baby parts. So.
Oh, I knew it. I knew that there was going to be some out-of-context stuff. That's why I have a list of words that I won't say.
That's right. Baby parts.
Baby parts was one of them. I just said it. Now
yes,
you do it.
Exactly. And also gun control. We're going to chop it up to talk about that. And yeah,
that's a thing. 1-to-1, isn't that right? Where we're at, like one gun for every person,
brother. Yes, it is. That's
in America,
and that's not enough.
According to the information that I've seen, nobody should be getting shot anymore. Like we all have guns. Every one of us has a gun, so like nobody gets shot. Like, isn't that the theory? Aren't we there?
That is that's supposed to be the theory. You're right.
Why is this? All right. Well, no, that's maybe for another time. I don't think we're going to solve that today.
I think the problem though is if you're asking those who don't share my opinion anyway, is that okay? Well, there's one gun for every person in America, but some of the people in America own like 9 of them, but I think the bigger problem for them is that they can't own 9 people also. You know?
Yeah, well, no, that's been a debate in the state that I landed in. Oh, they finally at least unlabeled all the fountains.
Let's talk about this. Speaking of the state you landed in, now.
Okay, yeah,
Joel. You stumbled upon something, and quite literally something pretty interesting, didn't you?
It was something odd. I stumbled on it like maybe a year ago, really. I mean, but it just became like a news story earlier this week where I was joking on the Twitters again about the fact that there's this manhole cover in downtown Huntsville, Alabama, that has a misspelling on the manhole, and misspellings on things, those are cute, whatever. But it's just what is misspelled on this manhole cover is the name of the city. Like it says Huntsiville, Huntsville, not Huntsville, and I don't think that this town should be building rockets if we can't get the name of the city right on the manhole cover. Worried.
And listen, I appreciate that you bring that up because yes, Huntsville, Alabama. That's where NASA builds its stuff, right?
The home of NASA.
Yes.
We've got like Marshall Space Flight Center or whatever down here. We've got the Space and Rocket Center. Space Camp is down here. You send your kids to this town to learn what space is like, and we can't spell the manhole covers right. Now, in Huntsville's defense, they're a very sweet city. Right. They've been very nice to me. Like, I'm a public figure down here, and they're very awesome to me as a city and a community. And not all the manhole covers are misspelled. Most of them are spelled correctly. But
isn't that even more odd? That's
right. The fact that there are a few that have escaped. Yeah, I don't know. It's a terribly odd thing. But so, I pointed it out on Twitter, and the TV station followed me, and they were like, hey, where is this manhole cover? And I was like, slide into my DMs, because, you're a news organization, and it's right outside your building. I don't want to embarrass you, you know? It's right there. So they looked into it. They found a couple more, and they put an article on the web saying that, local citizen Joel Elliott found this. And I thought that was very sweet because I used to be local transient Joel Elliott, so to be called a local citizen in an article on the TV station, well, that's touching. That's warming to my heart.
You've graduated to
I've graduated to local citizen. I wonder, can I use that as a pickup line, Bob? Can I come to bars and be like, hi, yeah, I do stand-up comedy in town, and I'm a local citizen.
You can probably do that, but I would imagine anybody you might be trying to pick up, I mean, they could be kin to the people who misspelled the damn manhole cover.
Kin and or lovers. It's, Alabama is for lovers. No, that's Virginia. That's Virginia. Alabama is for family.
Yes, that's
and lovers. Alabama the beautiful, Bob.
Joel, let me ask you, man, how long do you think this manhole cover has been there? I mean,
according to the article, they got a quote from the city, and the city was like, well, okay, this has to be very old because we inspect these things, and we changed over a bunch. It's an old design. So, these manhole covers have probably been there for, 10 or 20 years. and nobody has, I've been bothered enough, I guess. I don't know. It's some people in town do know about this. When I joke about it, people are like, oh, yeah, I've seen that. But, it's just, it never became a thing until Monday when I made it a thing because apparently I'm the spelling tyrant of Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, you're the spelling Nazi. You've taken that whole social media spelling grammar Nazi thing to a whole new level.
Whole new level. I made a news story out of it. And here's the kicker, Bob. You ready for the kicker?
I'm ready.
They put the news story on. I'm not even going to name the media outlet. It's way outside of your market, so it's okay. But I don't want to embarrass them. They put the news story out about the misspelled manhole cover.
Right.
I look at this story because I'm excited because I'm mentioned in it. Right. And as I'm reading this story, I find a spelling error. So, I circle the thing, I do a little Photoshop deal, screenshot it, circle it. I send it through direct message back to the TV station. I was like, look, guys, I'm going to give you guys a half an hour to reply to this. If I don't get a response, I'm tweeting this publicly because this is just too ironic to not tweet, You misspelled a word in the article about the misspelled manhole cover. You're like, come on, Huntsville, get it together. This is coming from somebody who lived on the street in 2014, and I'm saying get yourself together. That's saying something.
Yes, right. He is
Alabama. Straighten up and spell things right. We're trying to look good to the rest of the country here, and we're in Alabama. We already have things going against us.
That's right. My God, man. Well, the formerly homeless comedian Joel Elliott joining us from Huntsville, Alabama this morning. It's dude, it's always great to talk to you, man.
It's always lovely to talk to you, Bob. I'll check in the next time I make news. Roy Moore did a thing. We'll write an article about him and get in trouble.
That's good. Joel Elliott joining us from Huntsville, Alabama this morning. That is WTPA, The Rock. That's ROCK, The Rock of Central PA.
And now another big old block of rock from Central PA's Independent Rock.